Hi there guys, welcome to this first tutorial in the HTML5 customizations series. Basically this video forms the first of a number in the series around customizing your HTML5 applications. In this video we'll be covering just a basic introduction to the concepts and how it fits together. To give you an understanding of what we'll do in the video, we will have a look at the overview and design of HTML5. We'll take a look at permissions, what is required for customizations. Then we'll look at the module licensing, what you need from a module perspective to be able to do HTML5 customizations. Then we'll jump into the software, have a look at copying an existing application, as well as editing the application, and we'll focus on the context menu, specifically around the page, the layout, and adding controls. So we'll take a look at that. And that will cover the basics of this video. So just a basic introduction as to how it fits together. Cool, let's jump straight in. So the first thing I'd like to have a look at is just the HTML5 interface. For those of you who haven't seen it, this is our landing page, and we basically have tiles here for each of the applications. There's also a pull-out menu on the left, again with all the applications listed there. So for HTML5 customizations, what we've allowed you to do is to take an existing application, for example bin transfer, and go and make a copy of this, and then customize it to your own needs and requirements. So you can add specific labels, you can call the application different names, you can change colors, you can put logic in. There's a number of customizations that you can do, which we'll touch on in the future videos in this series. Just to touch on what you need to be able to do this, there's two things. First of all, your permissions, and then also a module. So let me show you the permissions first. To be able to copy and edit screens, you need to go into your group permissions and ensure that whichever group your operator is linked to has access to these two permissions here: HTML may copy app and HTML5 may edit app. Those two options need to be enabled for you to be able to copy those screens. And to give you a quick view of that, basically at the top left or top right of each screen you'll see mine's only got a print button at the moment because my operator doesn't have access. But if I log in as the administrator here, you will see if I go into an application now, there's an additional menu item at the top there, which allows me to make copies of the screens. So that's from your permissions perspective. Then the second thing you're going to need to check is that you have the module for HTML5 customizations. And to check that, you can simply open up your Datascope license XML file and scroll down a little bit. You should find this HTML design kit. If you don't have that in your license file, it means you don't have access to it. So you can speak to your DSP just to arrange that module to be included in your license. Once you've got those two pieces in place, you can then start editing and customizing your HTML5 screens. Okay, so let's take a look at copying a screen. So what I'm going to do is go back to my dashboard here, and I'm going to find the bin to bin screen. In this case I'm going to take bin transfer, and I'm going to click on my little context menu there, which allows me to copy. The first thing it asks me to do is give a name here, so I'm going to call it my custom bin to bin. Make a copy of that. And once the form's saved, what you can do is at the bottom left here, you'll notice there's a little custom menu. We can open that up, and there my custom bin to bin page has been added. If I open that up, we won't see any difference. The page is an exact replica of the original. And then just to show you also, if we go back to our main dashboard here and scroll down to the bottom, you'll notice that we have all of our custom applications listed in a separate section right at the bottom of the screen. So any custom applications that you add will be added both to the menu at the bottom of the screen as well as our dashboard. Once the copy has been made, you'll notice there's an additional context menu that comes up, and this is where we'll go into some of the editing. So I'm going to right click on that, and we'll notice there's two menus. One is a page menu with a couple of options. So new page and delete page we probably won't use very much, but that's for creating new HTML5 pages from scratch. Then we've got the design mode, and this is how we switch the screen into design mode, which we're going to do now. And then these two here, page script and markup, that allows us to edit the HTML5 and the JavaScript that sits behind the page. We won't be going into the detail of these two menu items in this video, but they'll be touched on later. For now, I'm going to switch the screen into design mode. Okay, once we're in design mode, we can make use of our additional layout menu. This allows us to add an additional row into our screen, and there's a couple of options here, whether the row is split up and how many columns it's got, etc. And that's these options here. I'm not going to go into too much detail in this video, but for example, if we wanted to add a single row, we can click and add that row, and you'll find that row gets added at the top. You'll also notice as I move my mouse over here, all the elements within here get highlighted, and that means basically we can edit those components. If I take this top one, I can right click on that, and I've got a couple options in the context menu here: move up, move down, delete, and then we can also add some components into the actual row. So for now, I'm just going to move this row down. Let's move it down again. So say for example we're going to change the name of this. We can simply just type in here, call it my bin transfer app. And then if we wanted to put a label in here, for example to say that's a custom application, we can right click on it. We can add a label, and then we can type in here for example. Okay, so we can add a label in there. We can change tracking ID, for example, if we wanted to make that, call that license plate number. We can do that change, and if we didn't want to call it to bin, we want to call it, I don't know, destination bin or something like that, we can make those changes. And then we can hit the little save button at the top right, and our form has been saved. So if we go back into and reload it, the form has now been saved, and this is our custom application. Thanks very much, guys. That concludes our initial introduction video. Please join me in the next video where we will have a look at the page markup and page script. Thanks very much for watching.